What's up guys, my name is Ace, and it's finally that time of the year. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this. We're going to be talking about what Black Ops 4 did right, as well as what Black Ops 4 did wrong, in my opinion. Today's video, as you can see, is going to be the first part where I'm going to talk about everything that I feel they did right with this game, because believe it or not, I don't completely hate this game, and I don't hate everything about it. There are a bunch of things I dislike, and of course that will be coming in the second video. But today, we're just focusing on the positive aspects. Now, as always with these videos, a lot of people don't seem to understand this. This is based entirely on my opinions, my preferences, and my experiences with the game. Your preferences and experiences may differ, and that's totally fine, and I'm open to hearing what you guys think in the comment section down below. All I ask is that you respect my opinions. I'm going to be as honest and upfront as I can possibly be with this video, as well as part 2 with what Black Ops 4 did wrong. So without further ado, let's just hop into this. And this is going to be in no particular order. Let's just start it off with general gunplay. This is one of the strengths of this game, in my opinion, is the gunplay is great. Now this has to do with many factors, one of which is the slightly longer time to kill, where it generally takes you 1 extra bullet to kill, although with the SMGs at longer ranges, it could take you like 3 to 4 extra bullets to kill compared to basically every other Call of Duty game out there. And when we're just looking at face-to-face gunplay, one player versus one player, I really like the gunplay. I like the time to kill. I like the predictive recoil that they added here as well. That's another excellent feature that I'm so glad that Black Ops 4 brought in, because now there's some proper consistency to your recoil, and you can truly master a gun rather than just react to whatever the recoil decides to do. Now, even though I really like some aspects of this slower time to kill, there is another side to it that I will be getting into in part 2. There are various aspects about this slower time to kill that I also really dislike within Call of Duty. But this is the positive video, so we're just focusing on the positives here. But overall, like I said, just the way that the gunfights actually progress and the fact that there is a gunfight, there's time to strafe and try to evade bullets, and the game also rewards people that have sustained accuracy and not just snap on and hit a few bullets. I personally really like the feel of that in Black Ops 4. Another thing that I think works very well, at least for Black Ops 4, and I'm really glad that they did with this slower time to kill, is the manual healing. At first, I was really skeptical when I heard about manual healing, but I remained open to the idea, and it grew on me pretty quickly, and now I actually like it quite a bit. Now, that's not to say that I think everything was perfectly balanced when it comes to manual healing. I think there could have been some more tuning with stim shot versus the standard manual healing, because I feel like stim became a crutch for a lot of people, like myself. But if we're just looking at manual healing in general being added to the game, I think it's great they tried it with the time to kill that Black Ops 4 has. I wouldn't want to see manual healing with a faster time to kill Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare, for instance. But if we're looking at it in the context of Black Ops 4, I think it's great. Another thing I like quite a bit, within the confines of Black Ops 4 at least, is the overall movement system. I actually kind of like the big jump shots and the crazy slides and being able to mantle on things that you would think there's no way you can get on top of that, but you're able to do that anyways. I really like the freedom as well as the added mechanical skill gap. I know that's probably a controversial thing to say. I know a lot of people hate the jump shotting and everything like that. But like I said, I just like that it adds to the mechanical skill gap. It gives you tools within gunfights to outplay your opponents, and everybody has access to those at their fingertips all the time anyways, so the people that utilize that better are going to come out on top more often than not. And I think that's great, once again, within the confines of Black Ops 4, with it leaning more towards the extreme arcade style of a Call of Duty game. The next thing I really liked that Black Ops 4 added was aim down sight sensitivity for controllers on console. I might be remembering wrong, but as far as I can remember, this is the first time that console has ever gotten an aim down sight sensitivity within Call of Duty. I know COD World War II, if you plugged a controller in on PC, you would get aim down sight sensitivity, but not on the actual console build of the game. So I'm pretty sure Black Ops 4 was the first to add it to console, and that is a game changer. That is so huge for improving the overall feel and control that you have over your character. And I really hope that set a precedent going forward. I know Modern Warfare's got it now, which is great to see, and I hope every future Call of Duty game will also have this feature. Next up, something that I generally like about Black Ops 4 is the score streaks. Now, I'm talking about without the Zero specialist. That's going to end up being in part 2, but if we eliminate Zero from the equation, I think the score streaks were quite solid in Black Ops 4, and they were balanced fairly well. One score streak that I was really missing and really wish it would have been there is a Blackbird or VSAT or Hater type of a streak that's like that super advanced UAV, but honestly, I can live without it, and I think overall, the score streaks were great. This brings us to the next thing, which is definitely going to be very controversial. I like the map design in general in Black Ops 4, with the exception of DLC maps. If we're looking at just the launch maps, I actually quite like that map design. And I know with Modern Warfare coming up, there's probably a lot of people that watch my channel that are really looking forward to that game. And I am looking forward to a change of pace with Modern Warfare. But to be completely honest, I prefer my maps to be well-structured and competitive. And I think in general, with a couple exceptions, Black Ops 4 had a nice balance with their map design, where it was really well-structured and competitive. It had that 3-lane sort of a structure and flow. But on most of the maps, there was also a good amount of room to breathe. So it wasn't necessarily too cramped, maybe in some areas on some maps. And overall, I do like this map design. It's much more balanced and controllable, and therefore much more competitive. And speaking of being competitive, I think that's one of the main things, if we're just looking at like really general things about Black Ops 4, that's one of the main things I like about Black Ops 4, is that at its core at least, when you eliminate a lot of the gimmicks like specialists, it really has a high mechanical skill gap for a boots-on-the-ground Call of Duty game, and I personally like that. I feel like it really pushed me to improve as a player, and I think in general, my overall ability to win gunfights has improved quite a bit this year with Black Ops 4, and that translates very well to other Call of Duty games. Now, having said that, that definitely comes with its problems, especially when you're looking at public matches and this game being designed for a casual audience. And I feel like that's also where it led to a lot of the things we'll be talking about in part 2, because they had to compensate for that. But staying on track, staying positive, another thing I really liked that they added were the 2 new game modes that they added. I thought Heist was a really interesting addition to the game. Admittedly, it's not really the game mode for me. I didn't play it too much outside of launch, but I thought it was a very creative idea, and I know a lot of people really like playing Heist. Additionally, Control. I think Control was an incredible addition, especially to the competitive mode. I don't really keep up with the scene, so someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure generally competitive players really like the Control game mode. And I think it's actually one of the best new modes that we've seen added to the Call of Duty franchise since like Hardpoint, for instance. I remember when the game first launched, basically the only thing I would play was Control, because I just enjoyed that new experience so much. Moving on to the next thing that I have on my list that I liked quite a bit with Black Ops 4, this is the way they handled attachments on weapons. Up until this point with Call of Duty, attachments were generally tied to the class of weapon that you were using, so every SMG would have the same attachments, and every assault rifle would have the same attachments. In Black Ops 4, they really turned this around, and they mixed and matched attachments, which I find actually helped add a lot of character to the weapons in the game, and it really helped them balance the pros and cons of certain weapons. So they could make an assault rifle, for instance, really strong in one area, but since it was so strong in that area, they could hold it back by not giving it a stock attachment, for instance, or not giving it quick draw. And that would help balance it within that class while making it feel completely unique. Now, the execution on that maybe wasn't flawless. I think there are some guns that ended up being way too powerful because of the attachments that they had access to, whereas other guns, they just didn't have enough good attachments to make them viable, and that led to some issues. But the overall idea of limiting attachments for certain guns in order to play to their strengths or weaknesses, I think it was actually a very good idea. Now at this point, that's pretty much everything I wanted to mention for the multiplayer aspects of the game. Those are the things that stood out that I generally really liked about Black Ops 4. However, there's another really big thing I want to be talking about that I loved about Black Ops 4, and this was Blackout. Blackout kind of stole the show this year, and it blew me away. When I heard Call of Duty was going to have a battle royale, I thought they were just going to throw a terrible mode together, and it would only handle like 40 players, and the map wouldn't be all that big, and it would be missing so many typical battle royale features. And that wasn't the case at all. I couldn't believe it. The first time I got to see battle royale, I couldn't believe what I was playing. And in general, I think they've supported Battle Royale quite well throughout the year, compared to multiplayer at least, which we are going to be talking a little bit about post-launch support in part 2 as well, especially relating to multiplayer. But when we're just talking about Blackout, I am very impressed with how they executed on that, and I think the mode in general is great. Having said that, I play Call of Duty primarily for multiplayer, so I didn't play Blackout nearly as much as I played multiplayer, just because that's not what really appeals to me. But I really have to give them credit there. They did such a good job with the Blackout mode. Also, this next thing is from the perspective of an outsider looking in. I am not a zombies player. I don't get into zombies. I don't know the storyline. I don't know any of that stuff, but I dabble with it from time to time, and I've played most of the maps. I've at least played through several rounds on each one of the maps. And from what I can see, as an outsider, it seems like they did zombies quite well in Black Ops 4 as well. I'm also not involved in the zombies community, so I don't know what the general thoughts and opinions are within their community. But these are my opinions, and like I said, as an outsider looking in, I think they did a good job with zombies this time around. But with that, that pretty much covers it for today's video about all of the things that I really liked about Black Ops 4. Maybe I missed a few things here or there, but those are the main standouts at least. And unfortunately, as you can see, this isn't a very long video. I can tell you right now, part 2 is going to be quite a bit longer. There are a lot of things that I feel they did wrong in Black Ops 4. And I hope you guys are ready for that video. It might be coming tomorrow or it might come the day after. But in either case, it will be coming very soon. And of course, this is where I want to ask you guys, really focus on the positives for this video. Hold off on the negatives. You can post that comment in the negative video. But what did you like about Black Ops 4? Even if you have to dig deep, what do you think they did a good job with this year with Black Ops 4? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe, especially if you want to catch part 2 if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time. Yeah.